Howdy folks, Matt here, Shady Grove Ranch, Jefferson, Texas. It was a number of years ago that I was driving through a field and it was so loud in that field from dung beetles flying around that I was very impressed. And then I also remember it wasn't but a couple weeks later that we had millions of armyworms moving around. And so what I hid in the back of my memory at that point was, after droughts, and then we get a lot of rain, all the dung beetles hatch. And soon after that, for whatever reason, the predator pressure might have left because of the drought. Then we can expect an invasion of armyworms. I just saw one around here. Oh, maybe there's one. They tend to parachute off whenever they think that something's going to eat them. But anyway, he's just eating the ragweed, so I probably shouldn't even mess with him. So, how do you combat armyworms? Well, you have a bunch of chickens, which we do, but you know what? They can't cover that much ground, the layers. The layers, though, if you do move them into a paddock, they will eat every single armyworm within that paddock within a couple hours. I did an experiment years ago. I think you all were with me. I think I estimated by taking a number of square foot sample sizes in the pasture, and I found 4 armyworms, like multiple square feet in a time. So I figured, all right, there's 4 armyworms per square feet here, and I gave them an acre. So off the top of your head, what would that be? 180,000 armyworms, roughly. And I turned in an acre is 43,560 square feet, in case you were wondering. But about 40,000 for estimation's sake. But we turned in those roughly 700 chickens. I kid you not. I came back a few hours later. I could not find a single armyworm. I think that those 700 chickens ate 180,000 armyworms in about 3 hours, and they didn't eat any feed. Probably didn't drink any water either because of all the moisture in the worms. Anyway, super good for the chickens. But what else can you do? Well, one thing that deters armyworms is tall vegetative diversity in your plant species, especially when it's not just leafy grass growing up. So we've got all this diversity out here, and that actually deters the moths when they're flying around to lay their larvae that turns into armyworms. So again, another good thing about high density grazing, you want to stockpile and you want to have some very high forage for other reasons, but one of the side benefits is you're probably not going to have a super crazy infestation of armyworms. So you're going to have some, but that's okay. It's all biodiversity. It's all the circle of life, if you will. But if you get, a few too many armyworms, it's going to bring in more predators, birds, species, and stuff like that. The bat population will hopefully slowly grow and eat those moths at night that produce the armyworms. But there you have it. So yeah, tall, sort of weedy, a little bit weedy grass is not the worst thing in the world, okay? So maybe that's the reason why you're not following your cows with a bush hog and clipping it down to 4 inches so that you have nothing but coastal grass grow back up. We got some biodiversity. Also, you know what? Like, if all we had was coastal, we wouldn't have honeybees, and we do produce honey, although we've never harvested it. So hopefully we'll get to do that soon. But these little pollen collectors here, they need some biodiversity more than just our fancy coastal grass. So there you have it. Don't fight against nature. It's all designed and planned out. Just try to figure out the mechanisms that work to make it better. That's actually your job as a human. Yeah, humans don't make the planet worse. They're supposed to make it more productive and more beautiful. That's a God-ordained mandate. So, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. In Christ's name. Thanks for watching. This is Matt, Shady Grove Ranch, Jefferson, Texas.